What is up, bros and hoes? It's Ashley Optic Midnight, and today we are back with another episode of Powered Down, baby. 33.
33.
Dude, honestly, like, now that we're going to be doing this every week, guaranteed, unless one of us is dying or traveling, you know, I'm hyped, dude. We're going to get to 100 in no time.
Yeah, definitely.
In no time.
We're killing
This week we do no guest. I kind of thought, I don't know, do you think we should do every other, like a week no guest and then a guest next week? Do you think
Yeah,
we
I
should
think
get
that's
in
like a good way to do it. Then you don't have to worry about exhausting your resources for guests too quickly. And
yeah, that's a thing.
you know.
That's why I was like, well, let's wait. So yeah, I'm hype about that. We got. Should we kick off with Black Panther, or what should we? Ooh, actually, I didn't talk to you about this before the podcast, but I feel like we have to talk about the Florida mass shooting. Like, this is. I mean, listen. Let's take. I know it's hard to take politics out of these issues. I personally don't like to get too incredibly political on the podcast or just any of my social media. I think everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I'm and that's why I don't like preach my own opinion too much, because, like, you know, if Amanda thinks one way and I don't agree with it, I'm like, well, she thinks that and I'm okay with that, you know? So I feel like more people need to be like that. But, like, something's gotta change, man. Like, there's no way that this guy should, you know, have all these calls on him and, like, be reported to the FBI and, like, still be able to go buy a weapon. Like, he legally purchased the weapon.
Yep.
That's so frustrating.
And that's what's frustrating to, like, the rest of the world. I have no problem with people having legal access to guns. It's just how you guys have legal access to guns is kind of scary to me. Like, for us, people have to go to attend a class to learn how to use the gun, understand gun safety, how to take apart the gun, clean it, put it back together effectively, literally know how to use the gun, which I thought was just common practice.
No bullshit. For the record, I am pro gun in the sense that, like, I would like to own a gun. I do not have any interest in owning, like, semi-automatic weapons. The biggest gun I would want would be like a shotgun for home defense. And, like, I like pistols. I think pistols are cool. I enjoy going to shoot them. There's a sport about it. There's an element of home defense about it.
I'd love to have a chance to go to a gun range sometime. I've got no problem.
It's very fun.
Yeah, I've got no problem with that aspect of it.
But, like, I was surprised when personally I went to a range last year to maybe buy one, and I thought, like you just said, I thought I had to do the A, B, and C, and D, and I had to do all this, and they were like, nope, you just submit this, and you have a gun. And I'm like, hold up. Yeah. There's no way it could be this. I don't know. I don't know. There's an element, too, that I see on Twitter a lot of, like, well, they can't take our guns away because of the Second Amendment. Totally get that. Support that. But, like, they are under the impression that their shotgun or AR-15 with however many amount of bullets is going to protect them from the government. Yeah. If the government's going to turn up on its citizens, your little cache of weaponry is not going to save much. Like, it's not. No. Like, they have drones and all these sophisticated weapons and...
Exactly. You're just more likely to hurt somebody that you care about. And
I think you have to be safe about how you have your guns, too. Like, it should be... I mean, obviously, if you have one for home defense, you don't want to have to go through, like, a 5-step safe opening process to get access to it. But it also should be protected, in my opinion. And so...
Yeah. There's cool ones. You can get, like, fingerprint ones.
Yeah, so that's what I want.
Literally reach over, fingerprint gun.
Bam. And I might have that bitch under my pillow, so...
Apparently, that's illegal in most states.
Really?
Yeah, it's
like having a safe or actually having, like, a weapon in your bed.
Having a weapon that's not stored safely. So I think if something were to happen, you can be charged if the weapon was just in your drawer, I think. So, like, so you kept it there and something happened. Yeah, I think I've read about that. Or if it gets stolen from your house and it was like, why wasn't it in a safe? Then you can be charged with negligence.
Right. You're an accessory to something that could happen next. My question to you, Amanda, is, like, to me, there's common ground to be reached, right? Like, obviously, there is something to be said about mental illness, and this person was obviously very mentally unstable that did this. The gun didn't just, like, start going off. There was a person that had to make that decision and go through all those hoops to do that. So, obviously, horrible. We need to focus on mental illness. But also, you should not be able to buy. I personally believe that you should not be able to have that type of weaponry.
I agree.
But do you think, here's my question, is do you think, because like everything seems so like divided right now, especially, I can't believe we're actually kicking off the podcast with this. It's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
But like, do you think there's middle ground to be had? Because maybe I'm delusional, but I feel like eventually, hopefully for the greater good, we can still let people have, guns to protect their families or to hunt or to do whatever sport, but also like have a system, in place where, everything's safe. Because I don't think the answer is banning guns. Like they say, oh, well, in 1996, Australia banned all guns and look at them. Like Australia has like 6% the population of America.
Yeah, they've even said that they've done comparisons that even if you do inflation for populations, it's still lower. But it's that America's culture is very different than Australia's, and America's culture is always going to be different. But I think that's oftentimes a cop-out. Like I said, I don't think that banning the guns is the answer, especially not in the U.S. where you guys take it so
gun culture is literally ingrained in the Constitution. It's ingrained in us.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous, but I'm not going to like shit on you. I understand why it was in the Constitution to begin with. I think it's ridiculous how much people hold on to it now based on how far things have come.
Think about the weapons back then and the weapons now.
Yeah, exactly.
Think about it.
And like I said, I have no issue with people owning guns. I have no issue with it at all. But like I said, it should not be easier to get a gun than drive a vehicle.
Right.
It should not be easier to get a gun than be of legal drinking age. Like, it's just, I actually read an entire Reddit thread recently where people asked the question, what people who work at gun shops, what was something that made you turn somebody away?
I saw that same one.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting to see. And like some places did seem to like turn quite a few people away. But obviously people have told other stories where it was like literally didn't matter what, they would just give it to you. And I was at an event where the guy who did the first, I think 12 issues, the artist for the first, like the Walking Dead comic book, so Tony Moore, he's a gun enthusiast, but he also thinks it's ridiculous. He was like, yeah, it took my wife to a Walmart and she walked out with like I can't remember what kind of gun it was, but he was like, it was like ridiculous in like 20 minutes and it would have only taken 15 if the phone hadn't rang.
I think there's got to be like a common ground because I mean, like I said, maybe it's just because I'm an American and anyone who's foreign watching this is like, you're a dumb American for thinking that. But like, I do think that people and enthusiasts, especially, this is a lot of people's hobbies and stuff. I mean, yeah, it's very dangerous, but like, I feel like there's got to be common ground. I don't think like civilians should have like P90s and shit.
No,
like,
I don't agree with that.
Where
in Canada, that's a separate thing. You get a gun license for just regular things like home defense and hunting. That's one type. But then if any kind of restricted guns or larger ones like AR-15 and stuff like that, you need a restricted license. So that's an extra class that has further background checks on you, and it takes time. It's you would never be able to go anywhere. Like I would not be able to go anywhere as far as I'm aware, in Canada right now, and buy a gun today.
Like on a whim.
I would have to have a course, which I think is that's just common sense in my opinion. And then you have to pass a test. You have to say that, hey, I've learned all the things that you told me, and I know how to use the gun. I know how to disassemble it. I know how to put it back together.
And I feel like there's a lot of enthusiasts out there that, I mean, maybe want that too. Like if you're trying to work, like you have a career in this, like you want to teach those courses, don't you? You want people to be responsible gun owners because the people who aren't, or the people who can get their hands on these things and do crazy stuff, like it makes everyone look bad. It does. I don't know people. I don't know the perspective of the actual like gun community. I guess if that's a thing.
That the gun community would encourage that. That's not ever that. Literally, courses and forcing people to take courses and get licensed to have guns
and like pay them to do that.
And I'm talking about an actual license, not just you apply to get the license because you passed a background check. I mean, like you pass a course. And I think some places
kind of like getting a driver's license
do have courses. Some people have said that some places do. But for the most part, especially Florida, I think it's pretty much you walk in, they do the NICS and FBI background check in the computer, and then you can walk out same day.
Right.
And that's what happened in the situation.
I mean, I don't know how far, because I know a lot of them are anti like people like tracking their guns, right? Like they don't want people to know how many they have. But like with the Vegas shooter, that dude had like 15.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The government should be tracking your guns.
You should not have that many. The government like tracks everything else. They track my car. Why don't they track a gun?
Like I don't understand. Like what is the issue? Because like
I don't know, man.
I understand what the issue is, but
yeah, it's a divisive issue too. So it's hard to talk about, but I feel like we have to talk about it because of this stuff. And like
and
to get back
honestly,
to Well, go ahead. Go
On a
ahead.
sorry, I was going to say on a more positive note with this actual shooting itself, I'm noticing that a lot of the students are getting very involved. They're not just
Yeah.
like I'm not saying that like it's obviously it's a tragedy, and I don't want to say that it's a good. It's obviously not a good thing that
No,
it
it's
happened,
definitely
but that's
not.
a
But
positive in the darkness is that they are getting so involved and they're literally going to be better. I think they're going to be better voters going forward. They're going to be more. I think they're going to be more aware,
yeah,
and I think
I
that it's
think that's
really
important.
interesting to see that they're coming together in this way now.
Right. I mean,
And I think it's really strong. I think it's really it shows a lot of strength.
yeah, it's good to show strength in times like these, and this is a really interesting case too because typically with a shooting like where that many lives are affected or taken, the person gets shot or kills himself. This kid's still alive.
Yeah, yeah.
This is really interesting, and I think it's important to show like, okay, that happened. We got to do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't understand. I can't even begin to understand what would lead somebody to do stuff like that. But apparently there were a ton of warning signs, and I feel like that was a big missed opportunity as well. Like obviously that I don't know the whole thing about the FBI. I saw so many ignorant comments like, well, like Trump's tweet about like, well, maybe if they stopped with Russia. It's like that's like being mad at like a video game company for not patching a glitch while they're releasing camos. Do you think the camo department is like messing with the glitch department? They're not. They're completely different things.
It was not the same department in any way, shape, or form. It's not the same at all. It's not the same. That's like being mad that the cop that gave you a speeding ticket isn't solving a murder when that is not his job. He is a beat cop. Exactly. It was never his responsibility.
I mean, the mental Olympics that some people do online is just incredible. I can't even sometimes. It's like, how do you like lack the logical reasoning? And I don't know, maybe these are bots that are commenting below Trump's tweet, but like it is infuriating. I can't read it. I get so frustrated because I'm like,
I know,
dude, you have got to be more in touch than this. Like, it's so frustrating. And this is the sad part is it's kids that are being affected and families. And like, imagine being a parent. Imagine being a parent of a high school student right now.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
People are like terrified. Teachers are terrified. And the whole argument of if the teacher had a gun.
Absolutely not.
Teachers are already underpaid, underfunded, and they don't even have the resources to teach their classes. Why would you ever give them the stress and responsibility of having to shoot one of their students?
Like, unless it's a voluntary thing where like a teacher's like, yes, I would like to do the courses to be able to do this, but like my social studies teacher from middle school, like she's not gonna do shit with a gun.
And what if you have one of those teachers who's a power hungry asshole? Now your power hungry asshole suddenly has a gun on him. Like I mean, why?
God forbid, like in some way, like a student actually gets a hold of one of those things. Like that's I don't know. That it just sounds that when people started saying that, my brain literally exploded. I was like,
this is literally the level that you will go to not address the fact that there's an issue. Is what if there were more guns? That would have solved the problem. It would not solve
it wouldn't
anything.
Have. And honestly, and like I do agree in one respect. I get the argument like, okay, why do you think so many of these things happen in gun-free zones? Because there's not somebody there to protect, right? Like I get that angle. But, like, I think that maybe the answer is apparently the armed person, cop. Like, my school had a cop. Did your school have a cop? Well, you're Canadian.
Not one that was not one.
We had an armed police officer at my school. I mean,
we had one that would come in if something happened or if there was an issue, but we didn't really have one.
Yeah, my dude was booling at the entrance all the time. And so, like, maybe more of that, like an actual professional who can handle that type of responsibility. But we don't need armed guards, that just sounds like somebody's trying to sell two guns to me.
It is, yeah.
That's not good.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
That's not good. That's not the way. I am hoping there's a compromise. We've talked about this enough.
I think that's what I mean. I'm not going to be the person who's so far in the direction of you need to ban guns.
No, yeah, I'm definitely not there.
I think there's a compromise. I think there's a compromise, and I think people just need to be willing to be open for the compromise.
Nobody's open to compromise. It's the thing. The people that want to ban guns, they're like, absolutely, all of them got to be gone. Then the other side's like, no way, absolutely not. We have freedom under this amendment. So, like, we got to compromise, though. I think that's the next step. And I hope it happens. I don't think it's going to happen in the next 4 years. But I hope it does because it's important. obviously.
I think those students are not going to let this administration live it down. I think those students are going to keep.
I mean, they're going to be able to vote next year, so
exactly. That's
or
what they're
next
saying.
election. So
they're like, watch your asses, because if you've accepted major donations from the NRA, you are not getting our support, and we will tell people exactly why you're not getting our support.
I think that we can change the politicians eventually. Maybe that's naive to say, but I think that like stuff like that, like they're gonna
eventually
have to stop.
Point.
Yeah, there's if enough people are thinking that way, they're gonna have to stop. So
I think I saw a quote though, and it's definitely not going to be verbatim, but somebody said something along the lines of, I gave up all hope for America changing when it let an entire school of elementary students basically be shot and killed and didn't do anything about it. When that didn't change
Sandy
things,
Hook?
that's when Sandy Hook. Basically, when Sandy Hook happened,
there was so much weird stuff with Sandy Hook, though. Have you ever actually researched it?
Ashley, are you fucking kidding me? Are you actually going to go into the...
No. I'm not full blown, but I'm just saying there's a ton of really weird things surrounding that. And anybody who's done any sort of research on it knows that. Like, there's weird shit there.
Yeah.
It's like, but I agree with what you're saying. Like,
do you know that they were trying to do that for this situation too? They were trying to do all the weird conspiracy stuff for this one too. And the thing is that the kids are old enough. These kids are old enough to actually be around and alert on social media, being like, "You're insane. This is crazy. I was there. It happened."
Yeah, but there was none of that. Not even like real. There was none of that with Sandy Hook. It seemed like it was way different. You have to, bro.
I did. I've seen it on the conspiracy threads. Actually, I've literally looked into it.
Nah, dude.
And my eyes roll so far back into my skull.
Bro, you don't think any of that's weird? That all that stuff happened with Sandy Hook?
What stuff are you talking about?
Man, I watched this shit so long ago. I went super deep into it one weekend where I like researched a bunch of stuff about it because I want to know. Because even the media coverage of it was odd. That's what pushed me to learn more about it. And like, it's just too, I don't want to get too into it because you're just going to, but like, this situation is not even comparable to that, bro. I don't think. I think it's so like, it was too much weird. Like, there's nothing weird about this to me. But the Sandy Hook thing, super like multiple different things are just like, how the fuck did that happen? Right?
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Kind of, or like... like a little,
like maybe it's different from your end because in Canada we would have just gotten like the reporting of what happened and not the details. But
I mean, I do agree that like after every major event, there's always people that are like, well, look at this. There was a flash from this window. So like, wow, that must mean that this happened and the whole government's in on it. Wow, bro. Like, I'm not that dumb to the point where like... I see stuff like that and I'm like, wow, yeah, it's a conspiracy. But like I'd have to unpack it all again to like actually bring up, I can't bring up a valid point right now because I honestly can't remember. It was so long ago. But like I remember being very irked by what I was researching.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I think that change needs to happen though. Compromise needs to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
ASAP. It's not good.
No.
So now that we definitely either politicize the podcast, or I don't think we did. I think we talked about it fairly.
Yeah, I think so.
Or at least our perspectives of it.
I've got no dogs in this fight. I'm Canadian. I'm just...
No, but you can't say that because this is like, you know, it's an actual issue.
It is, but I'm just saying...
Like, just because it doesn't... I mean, it doesn't technically affect me. I don't know anybody that...
No, but you can vote.
Happened to.
You can vote. You can vote. You can make changes in the States. I can't.
True.
So, that's what I mean by it doesn't matter. It doesn't have any bearing on me technically. That's what I mean by I have no dogs in this fight. I can say whatever
honestly,
I want,
this is going to sound bad. Even though I can vote, I feel like nothing changes. I voted in every election I could, by the way. Even local ones.
Sometimes things change.
I still do. There's actually an election coming up where I live now that I've moved. So I got to register for that.
Get it going.
I'm going to be
your constituents.
I'm going to be super off here in Texas, though. Pretty conservative area.
Yeah.
From what I could tell.
They'll be the outlier.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, though. I feel like I don't change shit when I vote. I do vote, and I do make educated decisions when I vote.
Yeah.
And I know that's why a lot of people don't vote, is because they feel like they don't change anything.
And that's a bad attitude. because
It
there's a lot of
is.
young people
And I
that have that
shouldn't be
attitude.
like spreading that attitude, but that's just my genuine feelings.
No,
I
it's
feel like
because
nothing
it feels like
changes.
nothing changes because a lot of people have that attitude and then they don't vote. So it ends up just being the same people that are like,
Well, yeah, I feel
50
like
to
you should
70
vote even if
voting.
you feel like it doesn't do anything. I know that sounds
Yeah.
dumb, but I've literally
No.
voted since I could.
It's just, and at least then you can say, I always say that at least if you vote, you at least have earned yourself the right to complain. If things
No,
didn't
that's the
get
thing though. See, is that was what is upsetting. I don't
Yeah,
like
it
to
is.
complain, and I don't like
No, I
feeling
know,
like
I
I have
get
a
that.
useless. And I get like we're a democracy, and like my
I
neighbor
think it's more
probably
not
has a
even,
way different opinion.
yeah, but not even like complain, but more just like interject your thoughts. If I feel like if you didn't vote, you don't necessarily have the right to be like, oh, I really don't like the changes that they're making here. And then somebody's like,
Oh,
yeah, I
that's
really
true.
wish that more people had voted for such and such. And then
And
you're
you're
like, oh
like,
yeah, I would have voted for such and such, but my vote doesn't matter.
yeah,
Then it's
yeah.
like
That's
you are part
definitely
of the
like if you're
problem
having a
then.
conversation with someone and they're like, man, fuck this. And I'm like, well, where do you line up? And they're like, oh, I don't even vote, but I'm pissed. I'm on Facebook, pissed.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like we had to talk about it this week.
No, I agree. We're probably I can sense some people calling me ignorant, but that's fine.
No, they're probably calling me ignorant or just saying like there was one podcast where like we talked about something kind of like this and
I think
we
we
got
did
like
talk about this
more
before.
dislikes than normal and like
Yeah. Oh, it was
they were
probably the Vegas
pissed.
shooting. It was probably the Vegas shooting, honestly. Good thing we just got it out of the way right in the beginning.
I mean, no, yeah, we just if I mean, here's the thing. I actually enjoy if you're a person that doesn't agree with us. I really thoroughly enjoy listening to things I don't line up with because it helps me understand both point of views.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's some things that you will never be able to convince me of otherwise. And
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
talking about basic issues. I'm talking about like really things that I just consider so morally ingrained in me.
Right.
Like I don't even want to give examples, but it's very few things. But otherwise, I like learning of both sides. I like
Same.
being showed different perspectives and maybe ideas that I wouldn't have thought about or situations that don't apply to me. So it's just nice.
Right. I
to know, just
definitely
because I can't think
I
that
go out
way.
of my way to do that, to read stuff like that, except for when it is feeling like they're doing so many just like they'll take certain tidbits of information and then create this whole logic behind it. It's kind of like flat
Yeah.
earthers. Like they
Yeah.
take one thing where they're like, look at that. And I'm
And
like,
it's like,
okay, but look at everything else and
Yeah,
then use
literally.
logic. Like,
yeah, exactly. But no, they can't.
dude, what do you think about the flat? I should have went and looked what happened to the flat earthers after the whole Elon Musk. What was the space shuttle called? Heavy super load, something
Yes.
super heavy,
I can't
something
remember.
load, mega load into space with a car. That was a baller move by Elon Musk, by the way. What kind of
cool.
baller do you have to be? Be a billionaire? Be like, yeah, F NASA, we're going to build something better. They do. And then they use
Yeah,
it to
they
ship
do.
their frickin' car into space. It's a huge marketing campaign.
Yeah.
I think it
Was
gets people
was
more
it for the
interested.
roads? What car was it for?
The Tesla Roadster.
Roadster. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's dope. I think that is what we need. I think it almost creates like another space race. Because now you're going to
Yeah,
have
a little
other,
bit.
other companies, like maybe you have NASA trying to say, okay, hey, let's buy up some of this. Or other billionaires are like, no, wait, I could launch my shit into space.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that I saw a lot of people saying like, wow, he just put a car, like, why didn't he put something more useful? Or why don't they put this towards like actually doing so? Like, this is a step to that.
This is literally just it was a demonstration.
Yes, it was like a big dickin' demonstration. Like
It
he
was. That's
literally was
exactly what
like,
it was.
I can put twice as much stuff into space, and then the rockets are going to come back and land themselves. That has never happened before.
No, yeah, that's crazy.
People don't understand that.
Dude's a genius.
Dude, they've
think I
never
saw
landed themselves before. Those save those rockets from being destroyed when they come back.
I know, and that's so much money. That's so much money
Yes.
being saved.
Yes.
And then so much that they can learn from, being like, okay, this is what happens when it re-enters and blah, and how it lands. And
Dude,
it's crazy.
right?
I saw a really ignorant post once that somebody was all like, it's really sad that Elon Musk wastes all his time doing this when he could be curing cancer. And I'm like, he's an engineer? Like,
How is he like responsible for that?
Yeah, like what makes you think that if he'd gone into medicine, he'd be able to cure cancer? Like how do you want to equate those things?
Yeah, curing cancer is not the same as launching a car.
Thank you.
It's just two fundamentally different things. And there's
fundamentally different things.
two different people that are trying to help those things progress. I mean, I get, man, it's like another one of those things where people do like mental gymnastics. They're like, okay, well, obviously curing cancer should be ahead of space exploration.
A
Hello?
genius is a genius. If he's a genius, he should be a
Yeah.
genius in everything. And it's
Right?
like,
His IQ points are way high enough to cure cancer, dude.
dude,
Dude.
dude.
Dude. I gotta
Yeah.
stop saying dude. It's one of the things I gotta take out of my vocab.
Wait, it's awesome.
Are we ready for Black Panther yet?
Let's do it.
It's hard to talk about because I haven't seen it, but I'm going
You
to
haven't
see it
seen
later today.
You always do that.
I
You're like,
know.
I'm seeing it the day of the podcast. I'm like, great, after we film it.
Right.
Damn.
I should have went yesterday, but I was not feeling good.
Fine.
I'm going with Rita. You remember Rita?
I love Rita.
Yeah, I love Rita too.
Gnarly Rita.
Gnarly Rita, bro. The homie.
Hell yeah.
The homie. But she already saw it and she was like, you want to go see it? I'll see it again. I was like, fuck yeah. It actually looks really good because I'm a big fan of Michael B. Jordan. Did my webcam for you get messed up?
Yeah, it kind of moved up.
Dude, Amanda's looking at the most dollar store version of me possible, by the way. Like this webcam for the podcast looks pretty good, but like the other webcam won't let me adjust its settings, so she's looking at like a really blown out version of me.
Yeah, imagine those like 2003 Screamo bands that would do those album covers for the back that were just super washed out and they're like,
yeah, that's me. I'm just like disembodied eyes and lips to her right now, basically. But yeah, anyway, so I heard he was good in it, and don't spoil obviously because I haven't seen it. But
yeah,
did you think the movie was so? All right, this stems back to last week. I mean, what's the last Marvel movie I went and saw in theaters?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Okay,
right. So that's where I'm at. That's how far behind I am.
Yeah, you're quite far behind.
So like,
well, not quite. That's like you've missed 3 movies.
You should. That's a lot of movies. You should be proud of me, bro. I'm going.
I am proud.
I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. But when I brought it up, Amanda was like, "Damn, this is not a good hype one."
No, it's not. No, it's the opposite of what I said. I said that for this, I did not say it like that.
You didn't say it like that.
I think you'll actually enjoy it because it doesn't have. You don't like the throne. You don't really like the Marvel tendency to do the comedy stuff, which I'm actually really into right now. Well, you like Guardians though.
Yeah, but that's actually good and like lit. But like Spider-Man, like
don't go. You haven't seen Homecoming. You haven't seen Homecoming.
I haven't seen it. Is it serious? I like serious.
No, but it's okay. It's not going to be serious like you are, but you got to understand that Spider-Man is like a 15-year-old kid and he gets these powers and he's just trying his damnedest to do the best. So it's got the serious moments where he's got to overcome things. It's got a little bit of the funny stuff, but it's literally just like this is a 15-year-old kid who wants to go toe-to-toe with the Avengers because he thinks he can do it and he's just trying to earn his place in the world and he is good to a fault.
I mean, I don't think Spider-Man's a bad person, but like he's not funny. You know who is funny? Deadpool.
Yeah, but that's different. That's a different kind of comedy entirely. Do you know who are best friends in the comic books? Deadpool and Spider-Man. Get out of here.
Right. I don't doubt that they're best friends. I'm just saying that those movies don't appeal to me.
You're judging it on Spider-Man that's already existed. This is like the first Spider-Man that's age correct, he's good at both being Peter Parker and Spider-Man. It's just like it was refreshing to me because I like it. I like the coming of age stories.
I'm gonna make more of an effort to try to like Marvel movies. That's on my agenda, and it starts with Black Panther.
This is a more serious one. There are still a couple comedic moments, but it's like they're they fall in there. But overall, it's a pretty serious movie. It deals with a lot of social issues. I think it dealt with them extremely well.
I heard. A friend told me it was too much. It was too pandery, political type of thing.
I oddly thought it was going to be more pandery than it actually was. There was probably only like 2 lines that were like, but in my opinion, it's not going to be in the way that you think it is. It's actually, I don't know. I don't want to spoil any themes.
Yeah, no, don't spoil because I'm gonna go see it today. But
yeah, because you don't know anything about anything Black Panther, so anything because you haven't seen Civil
War.
Dude,
I love going into movies blind. That's my thing too. Is like you go into movies like I've read all the lore and the book and the graphic novel and I've done not with Black Panther but with certain movies like Watchmen. You're like, okay, you go in there with certain groundwork of expectation. I love to go see a movie and I don't know what the fuck. Like I've barely seen a trailer.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I love that. That's how I enjoy movies.
Yeah, I agree with that. I actually wish that I had seen maybe less of Black Panther. And honestly, I think the thing is that Black Panther had this thing where everybody was hyping it up so much. and then I don't think it could meet that expectation for me, at least. But a lot of people are loving it, and I understand why those people are loving it, because they resonate with the characters, they identify with the characters. It is very well laid out. I'm not saying everybody thinks the way I'm talking about it makes it sound like it's a bad movie, but it's just like I would rank it like, it's like in terms of, it's because it's a part one. It's a part one, and so many of these like part twos and threes have been these epic, amazing movies that it's kind of like hard to. Every time I say
like
anything,
they're
I
just
say
laying the
wrong.
groundwork with this movie type of thing.
But it's not even like that. It's just there's something that happens that pushes the climax along, that pushes the movie, like the story along, that I think is stupid. That's how not even stupid, but
that's how I view all superhero movies.
Yeah, I know, which is dumb, but it's just like, it's not even that. It's like, okay, so you've got the story. I like all the themes are really well. The characters are mostly, for the most part, all really good. It's got a good villain. That's usually the thing that falls apart in a superhero movie, is that you don't care about the villain. This is like MiDNiTE. This is a villain that you can sympathize with.
Dope.
So I like that. I like that a lot. So all of this should add up to be an amazing movie. You got a great cast, great themes.
Where did they fall
execution.
short then?
It's,
what happened?
It's the execution of the plot. There's just a couple things that happen that make the pacing seem weird, and then there's just something that happens that makes one character flip like that, and I'm like, that is ridiculous to
Lazy.
me. Yeah, that's what it was. It was just like, I'm not. Yeah.
Maybe they like deleted some scenes. They were
no,
like,
it's not that. You'd have to understand. It's literally like,
dude, I'm gonna be on the lookout now.
Yeah, once it happens, and then we can talk about it more in detail. It's just like, and honestly, it's pretty common for superhero movies to kind of be like that, and you're supposed to just suspend your thing. But it's my thing is that so much of it was done so well that I feel like they could have gone with a better choice for that catalyst. I guess it's like the catalyst moment of the movie that
sure, like the turning point.
Yeah, but a lot of it's really great. A lot of it is really, really great. The way they kind of implement, because he's from a country, like a fake country in Africa called Wakanda, and it's like this whole region. And so like when anything's happening there, the music has a very kind of like traditional feel to it. And then when things happen with Michael B. Jordan, that's when you kind of get like the Kendrick Lamar music going in. And I think that's a really nice touch, because it's got that battle of like the modern with the old stuff. It's just,
yeah, I dig that. Sounds like I would dig that. I'm not gonna lie, like at least 50% of the reason I'm going to the movie is Michael B. Jordan.
He was great. Think he's fantastic. My hands down, my favorite part in that movie. He's great.
I love a good Michael B. Jordan movie.
Yeah,
I've pretty much only seen Creed, and like what other big one was he in kind of recently? Do you remember?
Fantastic Four.
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, you don't want to.
So wait, how is he in 2 movies though? Then superhero movies.
Okay, Fantastic Four is owned. Okay, this is literally. It's funny. The same guy who plays Captain America played the Human Torch in the original Fantastic Four movies. Michael B. Jordan played the Human Torch in the reboot, and now he's also in the movies now. Basically, you know how like Marvel Studios is owned by Disney, but then like Fox still owns the rights to X-Men.
Okay.
We talked about this. So basically, just a quick rundown, the 90s, Marvel had to sell all of its best characters. So they sold Fantastic Four, X-Men, Daredevil, Spider-Man. So Spider-Man Sony basically just gave Marvel the rights to use Spider-Man in the Avengers movies and stuff. So that's why that movie's so good. X-Men is still with Fox, but there's negotiations there. So Fantastic Four was owned by Fox. So that's why they could be in those movies. And then once those movies all got scrapped because they were terrible and nobody liked them, so they weren't going to continue either with that run or the characters, Marvel was able to pick them up. So they were able to.
So that makes sense. But like to the average person like me, when I go watch Black Panther, am I not going to say, hey, that's that Flame guy from Fantastic Four?
No, most people kind of don't. No, because for one, nobody fucking saw it because it was terrible. And 2, I think that there was at least between Chris Evans playing the Human Torch and the first Captain America movie, I think there was like 4 to 5 years.
Okay. So like we just should have forgotten about that by now.
Yeah. Basically.
Interesting.
It happens. Well, it's because it's not like you'd ever see them cross over because they don't exist in the same universe anymore at that point. It's Marvel's doing its own thing with all of its characters, and you know, Fox was doing its own thing.
Holy shit, dude.
It's like there's no X-Men in any of the Marvel movies because they can't use them. The only characters that were ever... Actually, they've gotten around it with some characters sometimes, but they can't call them mutants.
Feels bad, man.
Feels bad. They're getting them back though. Disney's currently in talks of buying not just Fantastic Four and X-Men back from
Just
Fox,
Disney
but
just gonna
literally
own
Fox as a whole.
everything. They just own
It's going
Star
to,
Wars.
and I
They
think
own
that's
everything.
yeah, and I think that's actually the issue as to why the deal is not going through really fast, because it should technically violate some rule for Disney to own that many major studios and developers. So like at the end of this, Disney could own 20th Century Fox, which shouldn't be allowed.
Right, that's insane.
That's insane. So
Big Daddy Disney, though.
yeah, so we'll see if that actually ends up going through. Because right now they own like 3 of the biggest proprietaries in the world. I think they own Marvel, they own Star Wars, and then they own Disney. So
that's insane.
Yeah,
that's like all the movies you go see. They're just like, yep.
I know. I see every movie. That's a difference.
Yo, did you see I, Tonya yet?
Yes.
Oh my God, I watched it last night.
It's good.
Dude, all right, so you were kind of alive at that time, maybe. I was like very young. I was like 4, 3, something when all that happened.
Yeah.
But I remember people talking about it in the 90s, like, or seeing something about it, like, oh my God, Tonya Harding beat the shit out of this girl so she could win.
I remember it.
I remember that. So, but like, I didn't know much more than that. So, like, I went into the movie and like, first of all, Margot Robbie could slay my soul. Second of all, always, every day. Second of all, I thought it would, it's not like a documentary, but like, it's actually a really funny movie.
Yes.
Because of how everything happened. And it's laid out really interesting. I thought it was a really interesting movie. Yeah, mostly just because I don't know how true all of the timeline is of what happened. Because it's like her perspective,
Yeah.
It's very much her perspective movie.
Very few movies are like fully.
Do you think she really knew? This isn't a spoiler, by the way. I mean, this is all like everyone knows what happened, kind of.
Yeah. Do they though? Maybe people don't know, because that's a long time ago.
That was. I mean, I'm old, so that probably hasn't even happened in your lifetime, viewers. Sorry. Happened in my lifetime, though.
Yeah, it was a while ago. I remember because I would have been really young at the time. I was alive, but I would have been really young at the time.
Yeah, I was super young.
I can't remember how old I
was. I remember hearing about it, though, like when I was a kid. Like, vividly, I remember watching something on TV about it.
Really into figure skating stuff, so I think that's how I might have.
Yeah, my mom was too. My mom like always watched figure skating when I was growing up, so I think that's how I like kind of knew.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a really good movie that I watched recently. I haven't been watching as many movies recently, so now I'm gonna try to get back into that. I've been watching like a lot of shows.
I've been in the opposite. I've been in like a movie mode. I've been going through like every single Oscar. Really weak year, by the way.
Austin Powers?
No, Oscar season. It's
Oscar season. Your thing cut out. I was like, you're going through all the Austin Powers movies? Damn, you are just like, like, are you the gold member yet?
Or bottom of the barrel for movies now,
dude? Right? I was like, damn.
No, I'm going through all the Oscar nominations, and like it's just a really weak.
That happened.
Not yet. The BAFTAs were last night. Oscars aren't until next month, I think.
Yeah, but the nominations came out this week.
Oh yeah, those are already out. I did a video about that.
Oh, so like, who got snubbed for a nomination?
I think that Best Pictures, in my opinion, the Best Picture nominations this year not all, but it's pretty weak. I feel like there was movies that could have been nominated that weren't, and movies that were nominated that really shouldn't have been.
I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea which movies got nominated. So do you have the list? And I'll tell you which one was the best one, or I'll tell you
You've probably only seen like 1 or 2 of them, actually.
Probably.
Get Out was nominated, which I agree with.
I like that movie. Great movie.
Get Out, Dunkirk, which obviously.
Oh, that's the winner. That one won.
Not surprisingly, it's gonna get snubbed.
Nope, that one wins.
It lost the BAFTAs, and so did Nolan lost for Best Director. So usually if they lose BAFTAs, they're not anywhere. It's like people basically said when Christopher Nolan couldn't secure Best Director for the BAFTAs, it's his runs. There's no chance.
Dunkirk was a cinematic experience that I'll remember for the rest of my goddamn life.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Blade Runner 2049, and it wasn't even nominated for Best Picture. It's nominated.
I heard that movie's kind of trash, though.
It's not. It's some people don't have attention spans.
True.
I really liked it personally, but it's. I think that there was some things that could have been done better for it, but either way, it didn't end up being nominated, and it should have been, and it could have been. So those two, then Shape of Water, Call Me by Your Name.
Shape of Water
is the one by Guillermo del Toro, and it's the chick who can't talk and the Fishman monster. You probably saw a trailer, maybe. Either way, and Call Me by Your Name. Phantom Thread, which is the only one I haven't seen yet, so I have to see that. Lady Bird, which I don't know how that's nominated.
Do you think these are
Gaslighting.
rigged by the studios?
No, not necessarily, but they petition for it. You have to. You can't. Usually, you can't just make a movie and hope to nominate for Best Picture. It usually will, but you kind of have to. You have to be.
Shop it.
You've got to be pushing for it. Other than that, The Post, and then 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and Darkest Hour. Those
Damn.
are the.
I'm gonna need to watch some of those because I don't have an opinion.
I've literally seen them all
most
except for Phantom.
Which one's your winner?
I think that it should be between Dunkirk and Get Out, but 3 Billboards has been like eating up awards like crazy. I think that Darkest Hour has no business being on the list. I think that Shape of Water was very interesting. The Post was basically just Steven Spielberg gets all his friends together and makes a movie one weekend.
Oh, I want to watch that then.
It was good, but it was just kind of like, it wasn't as good as Spotlight, and it wasn't as good as All the
Wait,
President's
is that
Men,
the
so
one
like,
with Tom Hanks? And
no.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, yeah, The Post.
Yeah.
Yes, that's Tom
And
Hanks
Meryl
and Meryl
Streep?
Streep. Yeah.
Oh my God, I knew that. Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I just don't know why I just got so happy.
Yeah. Either way, I think it's probably going to go to 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, just because it's won it everywhere else. At this point, it seems like it's pretty high up there. But
I want to watch it just because of its title. That sounds like
it was
a really
good.
Interesting
It
movie.
was good. It did some things really poorly, but it was, it's interesting.
Man,
It's hard. Things just aren't sticking out for me this year, I guess.
I just really like Dunkirk. I think that's a
Dunkirk was
movie you have
really
to see in the theaters, though. You can't like see it for the first time at home.
Yeah. Yeah. Either way, I think
Definitely a
there's
theater movie.
Yeah, that's my thing. Yeah.
So, how do you transition to this? We wanted to make sure we mentioned it.
Speaking of film editing,
Speaking of filmmaking and award-winning filmmakers, some stuff went down within Optic this week, and I'm not going to comment too incredibly much on it because I just think that's the best course of action for me. Obviously, Davis is a dear, dear friend of mine, and also I love Optic so much, and I think that the changes that Optic made this year are huge and new to everyone, and I think that there's growing pains that happen with that. So people call me a fence sitter all the time, man. They really do. And I kind of agree that I am one, but it's like I just always see both sides of an issue.
if it works for Philip DeFranco, it can work for you too, Ashley.
But Philip DeFranco does it in a way to not alienate people. I just genuinely feel that way.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he
No, I
really
agree.
genuinely feels that way too. I shouldn't say, Philip DeFranco's only doing it for his viewers, but like, you know what I mean? Like you could tell he doesn't want to alienate
I'm not here to
parts of
give
his
you
audience.
my opinions. I just report the news, and how would I talk to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think he does a great job at inciting like
Oh, he does.
conversation within his community.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I don't know. So I'm not gonna comment too incredibly much on it because there's so much that like not everybody knows and that I know, and so it's very difficult to comment.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring it up because it was mentioned to us that we should bring it up via the fans, and also you were semi-involved. Like I wanted to know your perspective on it because you were mentioned in Hitch's video as being one of the people that he was going to hire or explain what was going to happen, basically.
It's basically what people don't necessarily know is that was something that's been going on since
For like months.
Dallas, before Dallas, honestly. Basically Davis, who I'm one of his top 27 people.
Yeah.
Top 27. The man
Bring your mic a little closer. Your audio went kind of low.
Sorry.
Randomly. There you go. It's a little better.
Okay. So basically, this is literally something that's been going on in my life for like at least 3 months now.
I was there the whole time.
Yeah, Ashley was there the whole time. That it was basically, Optic. I literally basically one day Davis was like, "Hey, can you send me a message?" And then he was like, "Hey, have you ever made any projects for like videography, this or that, blah 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 blah?" And then I answered him, and then he didn't answer me for like a week, which is fine because he's a very busy guy.
That's classic Davis. I wouldn't be worried when that happens.
Yeah, exactly. So then he was like, "Hey,
on top of other stuff."
Yeah, so then he was like, "Hey, what's your phone number?" And then I gave it to him, and then he was like, "Here's my phone number, text me." And then it was like a week later, he was like, can I call you? And I was like, yeah. So we're talking, and he's kind of just asked me these questions and basically said that, you know, with the changes in Optic, they were going to need new people, and that he was basically being given the opportunity to create a team. And I was one of the people that he wanted. But we were just kind of dealing with the fact that I was Canadian, how it would legally work out if they had to pay me, different things like that. So they'd have to look into it type stuff.
Right,
So then
because
it kind of got,
if you moved here, you would need a work visa.
yeah,
Maybe
basically.
some
And then
people don't know it. You can't just simply come start living in America and making American money.
Yeah, exactly. Like I could be there for up to 6
You
months, but if
got
I was
paid them
actively,
taxes, girl.
yeah, but if I was, yeah, exactly. But if I was there working for like those 6 months, then there'd be the issue of like taxes and different things like that. And they don't take kindly to people doing stuff like that. But you can, like, either way, they had to work. They had to look into different opportunities and how they could pay me and just different things like that. So I didn't really hear much anything about it again. And then we went to Dallas, and because it was the weekend before that he finally got to me, and then I was like, well, I'm going to be in Dallas. Like maybe we can sit down and talk and try to figure something out. And we were talking a lot, and we all hung out quite a bit. And then that kind of, I went back from Dallas, and it was still, kind of like up in the air. I didn't really know what was going on too much. And then he, then, kind of, I'd say it probably settled a little bit over Christmas. There was like some talks here and there, but for the most part, it was still him trying to like get everything together. Cause, first of all, big move, everybody getting
huge
settled.
transition, dude.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's
Just
so
a massive
many moving
transition.
parts. Like it's so much stuff.
Yeah. So then it got to the New Orleans weekend. So I went to New Orleans, and they got me to do guest camera work for B-roll footage. And then he was talking to me, and he was like, just to let you know, like your name's actively been brought up in meetings that we've had. Like I had a content meeting.
I was at the meetings where it got brought up, and I was like, that's my homie.
Yeah, exactly. So like I was being brought up. So they were saying you're probably going to see this person at like events and stuff. And then he was like, it might not be as fast as I thought it could be or how I want it. And it might be some kind of internship, but we're going to try to get you on at least doing something for, like 6 months or so. And then we'll see like if they're okay with the output of the work that's been happening, like that kind of thing. He basically said that it might be some kind of like internship work where I basically just get sent around to do things.
Right,
but
which that could have potentially made sense for,
like
it could have potentially made sense for like what his vision was.
I totally get it. Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff that I you can do just by being sent to places and like editing remotely and stuff like that. So I was like, that's awesome. So that's what it looked like it was going to pan out to. And then he ended up a couple weeks after that, or a couple weeks ago at this point, he ended up hiring Ariel, who was the editor that they worked with a lot in Optic Intel. And then he was like, go ahead and download this app. Like I'm having a meeting. I'm having my own meeting on Monday, and that's where I'm going to be bringing up you and Muggsy. Like so we've got Ariel, and then you guys were having like final meetings on Monday about it. And at that point, that was when he had been made content head again. There was like, this was after kind of the shuffle where it looks like he wasn't going to be doing it anymore. After basically all the stuff that went down that he mentioned in his own video when he was in Mexico.
Like if you guys are missing the context of Davis's video, I feel like a lot of you guys that would maybe watch this have already seen it, but maybe not.
Basically, there was just kind of like a shift that it was like, there was just a lot of different options going around, because basically when Optic got those investment deals, it came with its own media team called No Scope Media. And those are the people who are doing Recall and Focus. So that's what Roger and Narwhal are doing in LA with the League of Legends. And
I gotta say, and you wanted to say too, it's bullshit. Yeah. I'm saying it. It's bullshit.
It's bullshit
that people are ragging on Roger's work or anyone else's work in response to this. I think that's messed up, because those people are like, they're really hard workers. And like,
for one, that was never like what Roger is working on was never ever going to be working on. He knows that. He was the one who put Roger in to be hired. Literally, League of Legends and Houston Outlaws need their own media team. It's just how it works with
like where they're at, because League of Legends is based in LA, and so are the Outlaws right now. So
but Outlaws is legally, it all has to be its own content. So it just made sense that, okay, this is where if we need help, it would just make sense to give somebody else just that to focus on, and it's going to keep it away from having to be a struggle for anybody else. So that was never anything that was ever on Davis's plate, and he knew that from the get-go. And
Yeah,
he's the
and I
one
don't know how
who
people
hired
didn't
Roger.
understand that. Like,
put
people
that
just saw his
forward.
video and they were like, all right, boycott everything. Like,
Yeah, but
start a
even in
fire.
the video even says 3 times that he'd been trying to hire Roger or get Roger hired for a year. Like, Roger is a beast. Roger,
Yeah.
literally a year ago,
Shouts
working
to
at
Roger.
GameStop, self-taught all of this stuff, and he's amazing. Like, he's very good at what he does. So, like, please stop sending hate towards those people. But
Or
basically,
anybody,
after all that,
ever.
or anybody, I'm just saying that they deserve it the least, because they literally have nothing to do with this. They're
they're just like,
they are employees of No Scope Media. They are not the heads of No Scope Media. They are not the heads. They're not Infinite heads. They're not anybody. Don't send hate to any of those people either. I'm just saying that they are so far down the ladder of people that you could even begin to blame for the things that you think happened. That, like,
yeah, that's the thing too that I just want to touch on is there's just, I mean, I don't know. I get why Davis made his video, right? Because like this was about to happen and he felt like he needed to supply his fan base answers. So like I get it, but like, man, people just run with stuff. They're like, oh my God, this little tidbit of information. And then they try to fill in the blanks and it's really difficult to like do it. And then people just react accordingly on the internet. And I don't like that. I think that you just gotta be nicer to people, man, and more like understanding. And I think Hector's follow-up video, you know, kind of readjusted, like balanced some things out. People are like, oh yeah, so here's another perspective on the whole thing.
But then there's still miscommunication there because Davis still doesn't know what's going on with Vision, like as of this morning.
I don't know.
That's what I mean.
Happening.
And that's like, and that's
I mean, I'm not supposed to know.
No.
Like, I'm letting all that just, that's their thing. So I don't know what's happening. So if you're expecting me to be like, oh yeah, this is happening, like, I don't know.
No,
I'm minding my business as much as possible.
It really just comes down to the growing pains things. It's just figuring
out
what I think it is. Work.
And I've been telling the guys too. I'm like, dude, maybe I'm delusional, but like, I think this is all just gonna sit. You know, once we're established at what's going on, it's gonna smooth out. This is all a big transition for everybody involved, right? You have all these new people, you know, trying to make this big thing work, right? And there's a lot of things that need to happen. And I think that the more that happens, or the more that as time goes by and everyone gets settled and everyone gets like, you know, in the groove, I think it's gonna pan out eventually.
Yeah, I don't.
And I wish more like of the fans realize that. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. Like, I don't see the problem with bringing in extra help. Like, obviously Davis was planning on doing that because, you know, he was trying to hire other people. But like, I don't even see the problem with, you know, No Scope bringing in some people, but then giving, you know, Davis and Aaron X amount of control over this or that. And I think that might be what's kind of going on right now, is that like,
I have no idea. I can't like, even comment because I don't know. So
I know. I don't know. Like, I'm not, I understand where some people are coming from, where like, I feel like I can't watch Vision now. I understand where people are coming from, even if Hitch says, please keep supporting Optic content, like, which I do. I watched the trivia video, and there was like a couple things I think they need to work on, but it's just like expected that your first outing on something might be a little, you know, like it's
a big change for everybody, and everybody's got to, you know, learn their duty and learn like how to make it work.
Yeah. I want Hitch to always have some kind of involvement in Vision. Like, to me, it's just
sure.
Like,
that's like Hitch is synonymous with Vision right now.
Yeah, I know, and I get that maybe he saw Hector's video and Hector's like, you know, I love Optic, but I need Optic to be bigger than me. I need Optic to be able to survive past me, and maybe Hitch kind of has that thought now about Vision. It's like, I need this to continue to do well without me. But I always saw it as more of a, if it ever got to the point that he didn't want to work on it anymore, he would be the one to make the choice to like walk away from it, not be put in a position where it's just kind of like what's going on now, basically. Yeah. And again, I'm just talking from what I know, what I've been told personally with my situation specifically.
Yeah, this is like more your perspective.
Yeah, and if you guys think he was exaggerating or that maybe he jumped the gun, when he contacted me to be like, look, I'm really sorry to tell you this, like, it's probably like, you know, I've basically just been told we're not going to be working on Optic content anymore, me and Aaron, including Vision. It very specifically said including Vision. So he, at least, some people were like, oh my God, he just got told that he's not focusing on Optic content. And he thought he got everything taken away. Whatever that meeting ended, he was under the impression that he was not working on Vision at all anymore. So I don't want people to think he was exaggerating. I just think that there's clearly just some miscommunication going on, and hopefully it all gets sorted. It's a massive organization that blended with an even bigger, corporate investment type thing. So it's gonna take
I think
some
so too.
time.
I think so too. I think it'll get smoothed out. I hope that it does. I think that, once everyone's set, then it'll, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Like, I'm the type of person where it's like, if you set me in a way, if you're like, okay, we need you to do this, this, and this, I'm like,
Yeah.
bet I got you, fam.
Bet. Yeah.
But
I
like,
get that.
I hope that it gets resolved soon. It might even already be resolved by the time this comes
true.
out. I don't know much other than like,
Same.
well, actually, I do. I'm trying to like play it. I don't really like have much of a say in it, obviously. So like, I don't have too huge of an opinion on it. Like I said, I see both sides of it. I see that we're growing into this huge, even bigger organization than we already were, and there's a ton of things that need to fall in line in order for us to be successful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, Davis is my friend, and I could see, why he would be frustrated and why everything that happened is, hopefully it gets smoothed out. That's where I'm at with it. And I wanted to like talk about it because people wanted us to, and also to share like your perspective because you were like named in the video. And I don't know. I don't know how many of your fan base or how much of your fan base like knows exactly what happened. So this is a perfect place to kind of lay it out.
I kept it quiet because obviously I didn't want to like
jump
say,
the gun.
I'm gonna join Optic. I'm gonna work for Optic because and then nothing would happen because I just you never know how things are gonna play out. But now that it's like my name's been dropped, it was put out there for me, so now I can respond as needed.
Right.
I feel like oddly enough, I don't think a lot of the people that watch me actually watch that video. So
well, now they will, or they know. Now they know what happened.
It's fine. I have the clip saved.
I know you do. I know you do, buddy. So what's your next step though? So if you were trying to extend yourself to Optic, I think you should still do videography and pursue that because you never know. Like, what if fucking 3 months from now, Optic or another organization or whoever is like, we need a qualified person, and you get this like, thing or a grouping of work under your belt, and you can say, hey, here's what I do. Let's rock. Like, I think you should do that. Is that where you're at with it too?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, unfortunately, I'm not going to Atlanta. I'd really like to, but I just don't think it's in the financial cards right now. But I'm definitely going to be at Anaheim, and I'm going to try to put together some smaller projects that are just like not necessarily professional grade, but just kind of a little bit kind of fun but different with some of the footage I got. Like, I've got some footage of the Hype Squad that I want to put together in something. And I'm still saving for a better camera. Like, my camera is really good, but in the low light of the events, are
you selling it, or what are you gonna do with it?
I might keep it just to have two, just for like different things I wanted. Where I play music and it'd be
when you turned away, your voice completely was like peace.
I want to maybe do videos where I play music and have like two shots.
Make a music video, bro.
Yeah, make a music video. Either way, I might sell the camera that I have, but I might just keep it. I'm not sure how much it's
I would probably keep it because when you resell it, it's not as worth what it could be worth to in the future.
So hold on to it because you never know when it would come in handy. But yeah, I'm saving for.
Do you feel like that's hindering you though? Is having that camera? Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't say it's fully hindering me, but obviously people like. There's a lot of people going to events with, professional grade cameras. And I feel if I only did photography, I'd be fine. It's really easy to find areas that are well lit enough to make those photos look good, or even just kind of have a light on top of your camera just to get quick shots of people when they're playing. But videography is really hard to fake that kind of stuff. And for whatever reason, New Orleans, for Dallas, the lights on the crowd right in the front were amazing. They were like perfectly spotlit all the time. Everybody looked so good. So it was so easy to get shots from that. NOLA was very dark.
Really?
Yeah. And then the way that I was shooting, I specifically had to be shooting at 60 frames per second. And for it to, I was basically just following the shutter speed rules. So that meant I had to have the shutter speed at 120, which makes it darker right off the bat. Like it doesn't let as much light into the camera. And I just wanted to make sure that I was following. I probably could have taken some artistic liberty and switched things around, but the 60 FPS was how you can let it get slowed down, which for B-roll footage is pretty important for what he was looking for, to make it smoother. And my camera only does 60 FPS at 720p. The camera that they used Yeah, Vision used to only have that though.
What year
when they
is it?
only Well, no, that's when they were using
That's
the
a
Canon
standard?
5D Mark III, that was pretty common. Well, you got to think cinematic standards is 24 FPS. So
True.
you would want it. You want it that. It's just when you need to slow-mo footage, and it doesn't look bad when you have it at 720. It's not the worst thing in the world, especially if it's just for like a quick slow down clip that's in a B-roll full thing. And if you can get anywhere that's lit well, it looks fine. But obviously that's holding me back. Like having a camera that can do 60 to or 120 FPS at 1080 is
That would be ridiculous.
it's just that's my thing. Canon basically does both like video and photography most of the time really well together in one bundle. And then it's like if I wanted something that just focused on video, I'd probably go Sony.
I want that one that Hitch just got, the Sony
Sony
A7S.
A7S
Dude, I
Mark
want it
II.
so bad. But it's like so much. And I don't
Yeah,
know if I would use it to its fullest potential.
Yeah, I'd consider
maybe
that
I
if I
would.
hadn't already spent like $2,000 on a Canon lens. So
What?
like,
That's crazy.
two grand Canadian. Like after taxes, it was 1,900.
Ugh. F that noise.
It's nice though.
I don't know, man. I think you'll be good. I think you got to keep doing your thing. If it's what you like to do. If you don't like to do it, then whatever.
I do. I like.
But if
I
you
like
like it,
events.
I think
I do. I like putting the work into events, but I also like doing kind of like personality based
like
stuff. At events
content.
too. Yeah, like content and just having myself out there a lot. So I'm sure something will pop up. I'd like to be like
That's
like
what
a
I'm saying, bro. There's so many companies in this space now, and so many like opportunities that like maybe like I don't know, just like scuff. They're like, hey, we need somebody to do this type of video.
Yeah.
Bam, that could be you.
Bam.
Bam. I think that you should keep doing it, keep working. I don't know. That's just how I've been like the last 8 years of my life. Like I see an opportunity, I'm like, okay,
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And let's put in the work, okay? Like you don't know where it's gonna lead, and it could lead to something amazing. And even if it doesn't, it's been my thing too. Is even if it doesn't, at least you know, like in 10 years when you're sitting there, you're like, well, I tried, you know?
Yeah.
Because you hate to look back and be like, wow, I could have done this.
Yeah, that's the worst. You don't want that. That's the last thing you want.
That's the worst. Speaking of the worst, I'm the worst at giving advice, but Amanda's pretty good at it, so we balance each other out. Do we have any advice questions to close out the podcast this week?
I don't think I have any in my email.
I didn't have anything good in my email.
Okay. We thinking relationship or just regular?
Whatever you think is good.
Trying to think. We had one guy that asked, how do you find, or actually, I don't know if, no, I think let me go find it. Okay, I think it was actually a girl asked, how do you find inspiration on the days you're just not feeling it? What is your go-to pick-me-up?
I struggle with that sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, dude, I just want to go back to bed for like 4 years.
You just want to go back to 4 years?
Yeah. But yeah, I think music helps me, or like if I kind of mentioned it last week. If I write it down, I will do it.
Yeah, that helps.
Like even if I like in my head, I'm like, okay, clean the litter box, sweep the floors, go buy toothpaste, whatever, you know?
Yeah. Gotta have it laid out.
If I have it in my brain, I'm like, well, I don't know which one to do first, or I don't really feel like doing that right now, so I'm not gonna. But like,
it's a struggle.
If you write it down, you're like, oh, that's not that bad. I could do that in 5 minutes.
Yeah, that helps.
I have to go out anyway because I need this too. So
there you go. That's my biggest issue. I feel like if I have too much time in a day and I don't have like a set plan of what to do, I'm like, do I stream first? Do I do this first? Do I do that first?
Yeah.
Why do I do this? And then I just sit there trying to think of what I should do, and then it's not productive. In terms of like days you're just not feeling it, there's a mix. Sometimes you know that you're in way too bad of a mood to stream. Sometimes you have days where you're like,
it happens to me.
Yeah, there's like, you can just be like, there's no way in hell this is gonna be good. Sometimes you're in a bad mood and streaming helps. You're like, okay, it takes my mind off things, get to chill with the homies. But sometimes you're like,
nope.
There's like nothing that having to talk to people right now is going to be a good thing. It's just going to take one bad comment or one even jokingly bad comment that's going to set me off.
Same. So like, I get that way too. And like, I try not to, and I'm pretty good at like dealing with it. And like you said, like there's days where like I'll be having a rough day and I'm like, dude, I know streaming is going to make me feel better. I know it's going to take my mind off it. But then I have days where I'm like, there is
No.
no way I'm gonna do a good stream. So
Yeah,
see you fudging later.
Yeah. In terms of content, sometimes I try to play to my moods if I know I'm in a bad mood, but there's something that's been bothering me that I can rant about for a video. I'll do it, and then it's just getting the energy to yell about something or just talk on camera for like 10 minutes, and then you're good to go. Then you can edit in the privacy, you can edit alone, you can do whatever you want. Then it's good. I feel like it's a lot easier to fake I'm not saying that everybody should fake YouTube videos. If you're genuinely miserable and hating what you're doing, you shouldn't have to do the, hey guys, what's up? How's everybody doing today kind of video.
Yeah.
But I think it is a lot easier to like be like, okay, just take a deep breath, get some water, and then for the next 10 minutes, just put all the problems aside, focus on making the video, and just get it done. But then there's times that you're like, no, there's no way in hell this is happening. So I do obviously feel like it's easier to not feel a video and kind of fight through it than a stream. Because
for sure. I agree.
Yeah, streams you got to be on.
Yeah, if you're not on for your stream, it's not going to happen.
Well be on.
Or they're going to know.
They're going to know.
They're going to be like, what's the matter with you? Have you ever had somebody be like, yo, I just wanted to reach out to you. How are you okay?
Yeah. There was probably like 9 months ago. I was having like a couple rough times. I was still enjoying streaming, having a good time, but people would be like, hey, hope you're doing okay.
Yeah.
Hope you're okay. Blah, blah, blah.
I don't know why, but it makes me feel very not good when that happens. I'm like, shit, they know.
Yeah. Some people don't understand that the way that I get tilted isn't me actually being lastingly angry. I just get worked up about things.
Oh, I've noticed that, dude. You get fired up pretty quick. You're like,
I know, but I'm not actually angry.
No, you're just a passionate type of person. Like, you're not mad or like you just feel strongly. I think that's really important for people to do.
Yeah,
to
even
feel
if it's about stupid things. But
I mean, I'm both. I feel like sometimes I can get really worked up, but most of the time I'm just like, it'll be fine. Everything's gonna be fine.
I feel like I do feel really passionately about certain things, but if it's something that I know that other people get really passionate about on the opposite, or that it's like one of those fire topics, I try to just kind of go more neutral and downplay it so that I don't start some kind of massive war. So that's why you see me get really fired up about like
simplest thing, like
movies and
Oscar nominations and things.
But I don't know. I think that sometimes movies are really important, not necessarily superhero movies, but movies are just like a reflection of life and how we go about in this world. And I think that movies can change people's perspectives. I think that movies can affect the way people feel, and I think they can change the world, not to make maybe a massive extent, but I think it's important. And sometimes things happen in the world that you might not have paid attention to, but get documented really well in movies, like the movie Spotlight, and just different things like that. And it's just good to see. Like Spotlight's the one that's all about the Boston newspaper.
Yeah, I've seen that in theaters.
It's fantastic.
Incredible.
You know? Yeah, incredible. If you guys haven't seen it, you should definitely see it.
And you need to see it, I feel like.
You need to see it. And I feel like that's the kind of movie that highlights something but doesn't I feel like a lot of times movies that go over actual events glorify things a little bit too much, but there was really nobody to glorify in this. It like called out the people that needed to be called out. And it did what it had to do.
It was a crazy, well-made movie too.
It was. It
was simple too. Like there wasn't too much fluff.
And it won the award that year. And I think that it was deserved. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out
to Dunkirk. That's why I like them, and that's why I feel like it's valid to get worked up. Not worked up, but just fight for good content, fight for good media, fight for good things.
Hell yeah, Jedi! I agree.
Hell yeah.
Do you feel like that's a good spot to wrap it, or do we have more advice to share with the world?
I think that's good, unless you want to like offer up some relationship advice or anything, or
if it's quick, not like a 20-minute thing, but I'll do a quick one.
You'll do a quick one?
Yeah.
I think this one's kind of a long one, but let me see if I can find something.
5 paragraphs of advice needed. I'm just gonna say, hey man, you got this though.
That's what it was. It was like 5 paragraphs of backstory.
I don't like that.
I do sometimes, but like,
I mean, sometimes there's a lot of context needed, but at the end of the day, you need an objective look at the situation, and adding too much of that like emotional stuff.
Okay,
you're not gonna
I've got a good one. This is a Reddit one.
Okay. Let's go, Reddit person that's not going to watch this. But I think here's why people like advice questions is because it's relatable. So we don't we do answer the questions of people that email us to help them, but also to a lot of people can maybe relate to similar situations and maybe take some of our and by the way, can I just note when we give advice, it's not because we think we're so great at life.
Yeah, no,
I
not
think
at all.
it's more about what I'm talking about now is like relation. Is like people understanding that other people have similar situations and maybe us working through them or objectively looking at it could help them work through something.
Yeah, that's
That is
exactly
why
it.
we do advice. We are not like
Yes.
we're not like, oh, we're helping so many people. We're so
Yeah.
good at life. Like I don't know what the frick I'm doing half the time.
No, I don't know
My
nothing at all.
relationships are a mess. So like what do I
Yeah,
know? But like it
exactly.
helps to have an outside perspective as well. So,
No, it definitely does.
do you have one?
I had one, but now I don't. You talk deep, and I don't know if it's a good one anymore.
What?
It was something about slapping butts too hard.
Oh, I could give great advice about that.
Because my boyfriend slapped my butt too hard, and now I'm permanently turned off.
You should communicate that to them.
There you go.
Did you notice a lot of problems in a relationship boil down to communication?
That's most problems. That's literally what most problems are.
If you're not stable enough with another person to just be like, hey, by the way, what do you think about this? Or I'm not really happy with this aspect, or yada yada, like that could solve so many of your problems right off the rip instead of
It's
like
true.
mulling over what their reaction's going to be or what they're going to
Yeah.
say or oh no, this is going to make it so we're not happy. Like, F that, dude. Talk about it.
Agreed. Agreed. I do have one. It's not super long, but it's an interesting one.
I like interesting. I'm down.
Okay, so it's should I date him again after this very strange date? So she's 23, he's 24.
Boy.
Okay. So, basically she meets this guy on Tinder. He's really attractive. He's in the same field as her, and they're both like originally international students, so they have a lot in common from that standpoint.
That's cute.
Yeah, so he messaged and she messaged back, and they decided that they're gonna go out and into a restaurant. And she decides that, okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's go to a restaurant. And he says, why don't you meet me at my place first, and then we'll go to the restaurant? And she's
Red
like,
flag.
well, I would feel more comfortable if we just met at the restaurant rather than walk there together. So she asks for the address, and I guess for whatever reason, she doesn't look up the address, just puts it in the Uber. Uber drops her off at an apartment.
Oh no.
So he's waiting outside for her, and
why did he just offer to pick her up then?
I don't think he has a car. So he's waiting because they were going to walk to the restaurant together. Well, that's what he wanted originally. Why don't you come to my place first and we'll walk to the restaurant together? So from that standpoint, it could have been like, oh, we can get some talking out of the way before we get there. But at the same time, we should do that at the restaurant. But either way, so he's waiting outside for her. And then he says that he needed to go back inside his apartment to turn off the lights and get a jacket, and insisted that I come with him.
Nope.
It keeps going.
Absolutely
I actually
not.
read this earlier today. So.
That's 2 red flags in a row. The third one, you call your Uber out.
Yeah, so she said, I basically gave in and just went upstairs with him, but waited in the hallway because there was a lot of people around. He insisted over and over again that I come in. I said no, and he finally grabbed his jacket and we left. After that happened, we had a really nice time. We talked a lot, went first for a glass of wine, then for dinner, talked about our lives and a lot of things, and all the ideas of him being suspicious left my mind. I just thought it was maybe just awkward. But then this happened. I was having a beer and had less than 2 sips left when I decided to go to the bathroom. I've always been careful of spiked drinks, so even though he now seemed perfectly normal to me, I wouldn't finish the beer once I came back because I had left it alone with him. When I got back from the bathroom,
that's a smart lady.
He almost immediately grabbed my beer, handed it to me, and said, you should finish it. This seemed really strange to me, and I became paranoid again, and I decided that I should go home. I very politely said I had a nice time and was going to call an Uber to go home, when he insisted over and over again that I should finish my beer and we should go together to his apartment and I should get my Uber from there. I politely refused, called my Uber, and got home safely. We have talked again via WhatsApp, and he has asked to meet again. But I still have this instinct not to go out with him because he doesn't quite add up, particularly because we know absolutely nobody in common, and he doesn't seem to exist online.
Okay.
So she tried to backcreep him and could not.
First of all, why is she wasting the time writing this post? She already knows her answer.
Because he's attractive apparently, and I feel like she is falling prey to the maybe it's all in my head. because that happens. People
Nah,
are like,
girl.
maybe I'm being paranoid, but no. There's a lot of red flags there. There's so many red flags there. It's
Dude, like one or two
ridiculous.
things where it's like, oh, maybe they're just a little awkward, or maybe like he wanted to show me his dog, or I don't know. You never know. But like, yeah, all of that does not add up, and the fact that like you can't access more of his online like personality.
And my instinct
Facebook, he's using Tinder to like prey on people.
I feel like the most I would do to somebody, say like they went to the bathroom and they had a couple drinks left, I might be like, hey, were you gonna finish your beer? Did you want me to grab you another one? Did you want to go somewhere else? I wouldn't be like, finish your beer.
Yeah, there's no way that's normal.
That's not normal, in my opinion. That seems weird to me. And then like, what would be the point of following him back to his apartment to get your Uber there? Like maybe I just wanted to find a way to have a goodnight kiss or something, but that's about it.
Yeah.
You can do that at a bar, but I know some people aren't friends. You could do that waiting for the Uber if you
Here's
want
what
to
you
try
gotta
to give a
do.
goodnight.
Yeah,
That's
you
weird.
say, hey, if you want to continue things, you say, hey, you want to go like walk to an ice cream place or go continue the day together instead of just like, come back to my place. I'm not going to kill you though.
Yeah, then you can take your Uber from my place because that's so much different than just ordering the Uber to this restaurant.
Right?
Clearly, like
I would
worst case scenario, he was just trying to like get you back into his hotel room. But the fact that he tried to do it, not hotel room, apartment.
Maybe he didn't spike the drink, but he just wanted her to be more under the influence of alcohol.
That is possible.
Because I've seen guys do that. They're like,
oh yeah,
they're like fueling you up.
Drink more. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's totally
like, I bought you another drink. And it's like, what are you trying to do?
I've seen that happen a lot. Like I used to work at a bar, so we had to be like careful for that kind of stuff. And like I've been, the person who's like, somebody's like, oh my God. Usually it's harmless, but sometimes people are just like, they're trying to get you drunk. They're trying to make sure that your decisions aren't as, your mind is not as mentally there.
You're real you.
Yeah,
that's fucked up.
Is like,
I don't think the more I'm thinking about it, the more he probably didn't drug 2 sips of beer. But
it's just a weird behavior
to be like drunk. Yeah, it's super weird.
Yeah, but at the same time, if it was only 2 sips of beer, like that's not going to make that much of a difference on your level of inebriation. If it was like most of the beer, if it was most of the beer, and he was like, no, like really, really, really finish it, then it's like, okay, he's probably trying to. It's hard to say though.
Jedi. I mean, maybe he was going to turn her into a lampshade. We'll never know.
I hope it wouldn't be that severe, but I think that just like, I'm not saying that everybody has to have a social media presence. Like a lot of people don't.
Yeah, some people don't like it.
Yeah, but if it just turns into a thing where it's like this person just seems to suddenly exist in the world and you don't know where they came from, what they do, and what they are, like,
or like they're friends with people that are like not at all, like in remotely my opinion, close to them, like didn't go to school with them, didn't work with them, like it's like what?
Yeah, like obviously people can move and stuff, but, like, and it's just like sometimes it's not worth it. Like if there's anything, like if you have that kind of feeling this early on, that you shouldn't have, you shouldn't continue. If you're that worried about something and feel that nervous that early on, like this is when it should all just be like easy.
Yeah, that's when it's the most lighthearted.
And it should just feel natural. And if it doesn't, it's probably not worth it. It's just too many unmatched ASAP. Yeah, too many red flags. There's a lot of red flags, and even if not red flags, boundary issues, because even if he had no ill intentions, it just shows that he had no respect for your boundaries. He wouldn't give you, he tricked you into going to his place first instead of the restaurant.
That's the biggest thing. He told her the wrong address.
Yeah, he told you multiple times to try to get you into his apartment, and then he tried again. He multiple times tried to get you to go back to his apartment.
Don't do that. And especially like if she says like, I'm not up for that, like, you gotta just be cool with it. You can't like continue to push for something. It's so weird when people do that.
Don't be offended that you're like, well, I would never hurt a girl. You gotta understand that a lot of people would. Yeah. And it's not an offense towards you. And if you're actually a good person, it's not gonna bother you. Like even if you were gonna go meet a girl, you wouldn't just go to her place first. You would want to meet in the public place, would you not? Exactly. It's just common sense.
I'm trying to make sure both of us are comfortable.
Exactly. It's just smarter to meet in a public place for the first time, no matter who it is. Like Whole Foods. Yeah, exactly. What Ashley said. But like
coming to my place is supposed to, you gotta save that. You gotta build up to that, and then like all of a sudden you're like, hey, wanna come see my cats?
Exactly.
Like
it's not supposed to be a gendered thing. It's just a common sense thing. Like you shouldn't just go to somebody's house the first time you meet them.
Dude.
You shouldn't put yourself in a situation where you're super alone with somebody the first time you meet them.
Well,
it's just common sense, in my opinion.
You gotta really build up to that too. Even like if at the end of the first date a girl was like, "Come back to my place," I'd be like,
"Yeah, it's one thing if you go into something being like, I'm just looking for a hookup. Then that's totally different. That's your business. That's
a lot of context.
If you're actually trying to date somebody and they're not respecting that boundary, then they're probably not worth pursuing further. If they're like, I don't know why you won't just come to my place. Like, I'm not a weirdo. Like that. Nobody should be that aggressive at that stage of things.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah, it's very weird. So that's, in my opinion, just kind of like steer clear.
I think it's important to like, I don't know. Some people just don't properly read people like that. Like they'll like, well, why wouldn't they want to come to my house? I wanted to show them my fish tank or whatever, you know, like they think about it really innocently.
Yeah.
But it's like you say, you got to understand that like, or even like if a girl was like,
that's what I said.
Yeah. It's like the gender doesn't matter. Like if someone's trying to get you alone, like unless you're really got a lot of context going on there, why you guys want to be that alone together. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's just, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Not worth it. Man, I think, we're at like $1.20 right now.
Yeah, I think that's a solid place.
That's a solid place to end her. This episode's full. We got politics, guns, movies, the optic thing, life advice.
Life advice.
I think I like this episode a lot. We'll see you guys next week for another one. Make sure to subscribe to Amanda the Jedi on YouTube. Follow her Twitch, follow her Twitter, all that junk. Follow my Twitter, Twitch, and subscribe on the channel here. If you guys want to listen to the podcast on SoundCloud, it is available there. If you want to listen on iTunes, it is available there. Please follow our SoundCloud or subscribe to the iTunes podcast. The links are down in the description below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Good talk. We'll see you out there. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace out. Girl Scout. Okay, bye. I'm leaving.
Peace out.